Hey.
The stage is ready for you. You rehearsed it, exactly what to do. You played all scenarios in your head. It's now time to keep it in your bed. The things go regularly, the driving step. So steady drag step by step. Thank all your lucky stars.
Welcome everyone to Kiwiradio.nz, your weekly showcase of what's independent, what's alternative, and what's new coming from New Zealand. How are you all doing? Samantha Josephine is joining us today. Another round of new songs from this lovely Kiwi artist. We actually have her on the phone right now. Samantha, welcome back.
Hi.
How you been?
I have been nervously awaiting for you to call. So
You've been very, very busy songwriting.
yeah, that doesn't seem to stop. But yeah,
Where's it coming from?
that
Tell us your story.
I think I think there is something inside of my chest that is sort of relentlessly burning, and whatever I experience, it likes to be expressed in songs. So
What are the
I
main
don't really
takeaways
know.
for 2025? What's been happening in your world? Tell me more.
Well, I suppose I released this album today, so that is pretty.
What's it called?
Yeah,
Come on, be
yeah, yeah.
enthusiastic. It's a new album. This is very exciting. What's the new album called, Samantha?
Despair and Love.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And how many
Um,
tracks?
15.
15 songs. Who's you helped you out on the record? Tell us more about it.
On some of the songs, I had Oliver Cornell doing the drums but this time I did most of it. Not trying to think how many songs, but quite a lot of it is without drums, and it's very unpolished and raw, as I suppose my style is. So it's just like sort of raw emotions and guitar. And I recorded it, I produced it, I mixed it, I did all of the work as independent artists do.
That's
Somehow.
quite the change, because last time I spoke to you, you had help from overseas session drummers and like third party mixers, but now you've gone full on steam independent, right? So it'll be interesting. What have you been, I guess, learning production wise?
I think just trusting my own intuitions of trusting my own intuition to explore what I think the sound should be. I felt like I was using because my sound is raw and unpolished, I felt like I was using the external mixing people to sort of validate myself, to be like, okay, yeah, that song's all right to be released. But now I've kind of learned that I want to release them how I want to release them, and that just requires me following my intuition, which is, yeah. So I suppose that's what I've learned, is to trust myself more.
Very cool. Well, let's do the showcase. Also, big shout out to Grenville there in the chat room. If you're listening to the radio stream right now, you can join us on youtube.com/@Kiwiradio.nz. We're here for the hour and every Tuesday night, showcasing some lovely music. A bit of a disclaimer, next week, if you're tuned in on the Tuesday, I'm going to take a bit of a break because we're just so full on at the radio station. There's been lots of submissions, but we will be doing like a live in studio on that like the Wednesday coming. We have Ben Ruig, who's a music teacher, joining us Wednesday midday in studio. So that will be really, really cool. So do remember that next Tuesday will be a replay, but otherwise we're pretty booked up till September. So I'm really glad to have you on today, Samantha, on the day of release. Such good timing. Awesome. Well, we're a storytelling podcast, if you haven't heard us before. We basically do 3 songs and explain the stories behind each song straight from the artist's mouth. So, Samantha, take it away with, I've got a song here called Can a Lady Take Off a Shirt? Very provocative title, but where did this come from? Which is great because it makes me want to I want to listen to it. But can a lady take off her shirt? I mean, can you explain?
I shall explain it from the way I can explain it, because if you might remember that the way that I write songs is stream of consciousness, and so the deliberate story behind the song isn't always obvious even to myself. But so this song, Can a Lady Take Off a Shirt? That's the first line of the song. And I recorded this as a tangent, as I do, and I had sort of stepped away from it because the first line, I was like, what the hell is that? And so I didn't look at it for a while, and then I looked at it and I absorbed the lyrics, and I was like, wow, okay, this is probably to do with me processing some trauma through therapy. And so it starts off with like this question of what it's like to be in a woman's body. And that sounds like really intense, but it's pretty chill song. And it sort of meanders around the like traditional feminine perspective and maybe some self-judgment on myself, and frustration at myself. So it sort of meanders. You'll sense that it's meandering, but it has a drum beat and some chill guitar while I meander along about ladies taking off shirts.
Let's have a listen. Kiwi Radio is the name of the station. We're simulcast on upfm.co.nz. Proudly sponsored by Musician Buddy app. Check it out on iPhones and iPads. It's a great way for musicians to connect with the audience and get paid gigs. Check it out, Musician Buddy. And let's get to some music. You're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz. Again, we're here every Tuesday. Please say hello to us in the chat room. It would be lovely, lovely, lovely to hear from you all this wonderful evening.
Can a lady take a shirt when it's evening? Meaning for dirt and earth. Can the ladies take off a shirt and earn the breathing? Can we take it, leaving all the dirt and it in it? It's so in. Can save it, do what we can avoid and savor it. And when we take out sight and only what is made. outside in walls of rooms and trace us in a baking broom and an iron tree pulling me and doesn't mean you'll be empty and waste aside. Cannibal alongside the cannibal. Genius so far and into life and dangers, the way they strife us. When we take the moment to just feel it, and it's known and private. When we can and only know someone else is feeling it though, and we like it, and fold your skin and say what it is and what it isn't, and the outside on even trying. Why doesn't she understand the door? I don't know, maybe she's bored, and why doesn't she understand the door? And then I don't know, maybe she's bored, and why doesn't she understand the door? When you know and inside, and it doesn't make sense just to be outside, and when you know you can't inside, it doesn't make sense just to be outside. Cantaloupe, juggling sprees of cantaloupes, scraping my knee, and cantaloupes are sated for the praises of this evening dress. No one else is lazy and alone.
Kiwiradio.nz, Samantha Josephine here with a brand new album, 15 entire tracks. Where can we find your music?
Where can you find my music? Just, Spotify, Bandcamp, YouTube, and
Just
I do a lot on Facebook and Instagram too.
Yeah, Samantha Josephine, check it out. How do you describe your genre of music, by the way?
Oh, that question.
Especially going all indie with this one here, you know?
Well, I suppose indie would be in that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, who do you listen
sometimes
to, shall we say?
What do I listen to?
As for inspiration.
I guess it just depends on what I need, but I think sometimes art rock comes into my mind. And yeah, just the indie sort of rock.
No artists in mind?
Beck and Modest Mouse, Velvet Underground.
Yeah, no, definitely. I hear a bit of that. That's cool. Well, I'll help you out here. So the web links I have is instagram.com/Samantha Josephine Music. You can also find Linktree, linktr.ee at Samantha Josephine. Are you still in Christchurch there, Samantha?
Yep.
What's Christchurch like this evening?
It has been cold and raining.
Yeah.
Yeah, and much darker than usual, I suppose. Yeah, so feels very winter-like.
It throws me off the whole daylight thing, right? Daylight savings. We've had it here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of feeling a little bit cozy though, in a way.
Yeah.
Because now nighttime is more allowed to be nighttime much earlier, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like the sun rising like earlier than usual because I don't know. I feel like I get more of a day, and when it is nighttime, you kind of, because you've had a full day, I like to have rest and like quiet. So, you know, the night comes earlier, and it just, I don't know. For me, it works as well. So, yeah, that's cool. Anyways, next song. It's "Put an Angel in His Bin." Yeah, you like song titles with like very descriptive. Like I'm thinking 5 or 6 words per song title. But yeah, tell us about this. Yeah.
I usually just pick a line that stands out to me, like from the song.
Yeah.
So I don't. I never like come up with a title. I just like, oh, that lyric stands out, and I'm just like, okay, that's
Okay.
the title of the song. So like, yeah. Anyway, so this song, I guess you can stand back and look at just what I have as the title, Put an Angel in His Bin. And for me, I guess because again, it's stream of consciousness, so I don't really intentionally say these things, but I think my unconscious mind is like saying it's kind of like a throwing away very harshly of something that's perceived to be quite innocent within myself, like a loss of innocence. Yeah, that's what the song felt like. It's very, again, it has this sort of chill feeling, but it's saying things that are painful and sad. Yeah. It's very abstract. I've been trying to look at the lyrics because my mind has gone blank from the nervousness of trying to describe my music.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. It's all good. And I'm really glad to have you back on the show. It's been a while since we caught up, so it's quite cool to hear this cycle of music from you. You're definitely in my sort of how I see you as a modern poet. You're always writing, and you've got so many words to say, kind of thing. Where do you think that comes from? Having lots to say, especially in music. Like having many lyrics.
I'm very much in my head, constantly processing existence. Like I wish it would stop sometimes, but I can't help it. And I think, yeah, quite young, I was writing poetry instead of doing school. I remember sitting at the back of the classroom, ignoring everyone, just writing poems and not doing what I was supposed to be doing.
I have a very linear story with school. For quite some time, I got into drawing. Like I drew a few homemade comic books, for example, and it's gone full circle because I'm a dad now of a 3-year-old, so I read him for bedtime the comics that I drew as a kid. And as a kid, when I say as a kid, I'm talking as a 7 or 8-year-old. I remember this one comic I drew, and it was about a fish, and it kept, you went fishing and you kept caught a bigger and bigger fish, and at the end, the final page, the fisherman goes into the sea, and it's like who's caught now, kind of thing. It was very plain English, but it was all about the illustration. And I remember, like, at school,
it's crazy.
You'd get
for
given
a 7-year-old.
You'd get given these and as I developed as a teen and stuff, how you would have like mathematics class and stuff, and you'd get like one piece of A4 sheet paper. You remember them? You'd get like a worksheet to write on. And I'd always stick them into and I've still got my school books. I'd stick them into my school books, fold them in half. But I had this like urge to always draw a cover for every A4 sheet. So I have these wonderfully colorful drawings and stuff like that. And the teacher comments were always like, "This is really neat, Ralph, but stick to your work." So,
Yep.
well, it's interesting because I feel like sometimes, I don't know, school kind of prepares us for the workforce, right? And it's like, well, the beauty is like, as an artist, you must feel sometimes that you're kind of like, I don't know, a square living in a circle world kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you don't always quite fit.
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to process sometimes, especially as when you mentioned, you're always processing existence and stuff. But this is where great art comes in, and I don't know, I'm in social media feeling a bit, over it really at the moment because, as a radio station, I follow a lot of musicians, right? So, and
Yeah.
I made a post recently, which is probably a little bit controversial, but I just kind of want to touch on it a little bit, where there's a lot of musicians that are very much into like posting highlight reels, like a photo, and it's not always about music. The difference with you, I notice, is you're literally like almost every post is a song attached to it. Like you're actually working on music in real time, which is the difference to, I believe, like a full-on songwriter as opposed to someone who's maybe in the music scene for the wrong reasons or something, or just a bit of an attention economy. I don't know. I'm having a bit of a rant.
It's hard to know how to interact with social media, isn't it? Like it's taken me. I feel like each time I do it, I feel uncomfortable, but I'm trying to be very authentically myself. And at first I thought, because I'm not running around touring, that I don't have stuff to share. And then I realized I can just share my version of being a musician, which is
Yeah, that's
what
cool. Yeah, yeah.
I've seen.
Make it. It is what it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The great thing about making music is the release of processing, basically, for you. For many of us musicians, it's self-therapy. So I liked what you said, how my version of being a musician, you're basically just being you, which is really cool, really authentic. And I've always liked following your music. You're very prolific, which is cool. So we'll get on to your next song, Put an Angel in His Bin. We've talked about it, so let's play it. And you're locked into Kiwiradio.nz. Say hello in the chat room. What would you put in the bin in 2025? What would it be? Tell us in the chat room. That's youtube.com/@KiwiRadioNZ. That's youtube.com/@KiwiRadio.nz. Kiwi Radio distracted by the chat room, which is great. Grenville is dominating the chat room, which is amazing. Thank you very much, musician buddy for sponsoring the podcast. We really, really love that. And Grenville's in the chat room there, Samantha, saying, super interesting music. Reminds me of prog indie folk. Very cool music. He's also saying studio looks awesome, Ralphie. Thank you very much. And he's saying, you are doing so good, Samantha. Really cool to discover you and hear your art. Yeah, if you're in the YouTube YouTube channel right now, we've reached to monetize the channel. We've reached over 500 subscribers, so that's one of the milestones to monetize it. The other milestone is we need for every month 3,000 watching hours or something like that. We've reached a third of that. So we're on 1,000 watching hours, which is crazy to actually think about that. I guess the internet's a big place. But I just wanted to quickly touch on the studio as well. So do you watch a lot of cartoons like Sonic the Hedgehog, Samantha? Are you a fan of the franchise? No? Yes,
no, sorry.
Well, anyways, there's an animation called Sonic Boom, and I can't remember her name right now, but there's this raccoon character that likes to collect shiny things. So I've dressed the set with lots of shiny things that I enjoy, and a lot of it's actually either thrifted or found. Like there's an interesting story, for example, behind this sports car right here behind me. I went to a thrift store, and then I walked by, and there was a garage sale sign. And there was a man and a woman at the garage sale, and they were just selling just rubbish. There was nothing monetary value. I'm talking like metal tubes and just kind of things that you don't want in your house. They had this toy car broken into three, and it turns out it's from 1960. And it's a nice looking car. It's a Chevrolet or something. Yeah, it's a Chevrolet or something, but it's from 1960, and I literally it looks great behind me, but it's been taped up with literally like black tape. So it's actually not very functioning, but yeah, I just like shiny things, so that's got a great story behind it. What about you there, Samantha? Are you a bit of a collector of any sort?
Um,
I'm
a
talking
collector.
teapots.
I collect guitars, and
Of course,
I guess
part of the trade.
I have broken cups. That's my fault because I keep breaking them.
Why?
Because they seem to get knocked off the desk.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought maybe that was part of your show routine where you break cups.
Part of my process.
Yeah. Or even part of your process when you've got writer's block or something. You're like, damn it! Yeah. But,
No.
okay. Well, anyways, I thought I'd have a rant with that story because we are a storytelling podcast. So, but anyways, moving on. The third song is, I've got my notes here as well. Tangerines is the next track.
That's a short one, right?
That is a short one. I'm surprised.
Oh no, it's echoing again. I can do this.
Sounds good on my end, so the recording will be fine.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
so Tangerines, what's that about?
That is, oh man, my songs are so personal, aren't they? So or I can be very vague and abstract, but this one it's kind of like it's about my relationship with my therapist, and it's a little bit mixed in with other things as well, but yeah, it's taken me a bit to see that. I looked at it and I was like, oh man, that's some weird attachment stuff you got going on, but I guess we all have weird stuff going on, and it's kind of talks about me going in the room and like trying to pretend I'm someone else and trying to understand the feelings I'm having, and I think that's kind of, I think if I go any more particular, I'm just going to get lost, but it meanders in that area, and it's quite a different vibe to the previous two because it's a bit more gentle. It's not like, yeah, it's more fragile, maybe not super fragile, but there's much more fragile songs on the album, but this one leans in that direction, so I thought it would be a good one to send to you because it's a little bit in the middle.
And I will remind people we're doing a 3-song set today, but the new album by Samantha Josephine is called Despair and Love, and it's 15 glorious tracks that you should probably check out. So you heard it here on Kiwiradio.nz. We're very passionate about showcasing New Zealand music each and every week. So thank you for joining in, everyone. Let's play the music, and we'll be back with Samantha to have a bit of a yarn at the end.
tasty thing for me. Tangerines above where we plead. Can you tell us what to do with the feelings about you? Can you walk the screen? Tell us what we are being wrong in the sideline of life. Does it feel like my disguise when you lean into the room? Gotta pull the empty down on you. Take a level up to be sound. You were feeling so profound, and the lady was just things that we put above all of our heads. Out a bit of sun in the room. Can I please all of you? Out a bit of sun in the room. Can I please all of you? Places I've been lying hide when hands ain't gonna disguise, and the places I've been the old disguise gonna be when, and we done a surprise, and the lady was just dreaming here because we were just fine in our eyes. We were dreaming because of disguise, sort of for the middle in eyes of the room, out of for the middle in the eyes, and the eyes were you, and the time was in delay. We were feeling things, but they wouldn't play, and the light was bouncing around to be things like here and awful profound like here.
You're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz. Samantha Josephine. Heart of gold, mate. Heart of gold. And thank you for opening up with your new music. You know we love putting you on the centre stage and seeing what you've been up to. Yeah, you definitely got a heart of gold. So thank you. What's next? What's next for you? I presume that 15 tracks was quite the milestone. Are you going to have some rest now, or are you back to writing already?
Stumbling on words. Anyway, I feel like, so no on the rest, but with this album, it feels like the rest for me, the release for me is putting the songs out and getting them off me. And that's given me a bit of room to breathe so I can continue to create without those songs crowding me anymore. They were so heavy on me because, 15 is quite a lot. And I actually, usually when I release stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do all the admin and announce it and email it. But I didn't. I just made a post today, just a shorts reel saying I'd released the album. And usually I'd put like performance videos up and everything, but I was just so exhausted. I thought, I still want to release it, but this is the only way I can do it if I only announce it. And so for the next little while, I'm going to be putting out the rest of the content, which is like the performance videos and just whatever I come up with. Because I think for the last few weeks, I've taken kind of a break to allow myself to release this because it's so emotionally dense. I felt too self-conscious to release it. And so now that I've done it, I'm doing it in these small steps that I can, that I can actually do. And then afterwards, doing the content, the videos, and all the stuff, very drawn out, not all in this moment. So I don't know what that means I'm going to be doing, but I suppose songwriting and videos is what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, that touches a nerve because as a profession, I actually work a little bit in the mental health field, especially in the disability sector, and so I'm supporting people living with disabilities, but they also it's important for them to have milestones and goals, right? So what I always tell people I support is basically it's really great to have goals. So you, for example, put out an album, but yeah, to kind of so that you don't feel overwhelmed, just think of it in bite-sized, manageable action points, right? So 15 songs, great. Maybe release content for song one, and it's okay as well to kind of skip a beat every now and then and not get all your goals 120%, because it's fine to be kind of just human, right? The human error element. But yeah, just having those manageable and bite-sized action points, or eating an elephant with a teaspoon one at a time is the other quote. Just makes it
There's
feel.
a lot of pressure
What's
on
that?
musicians. There's a lot of pressure on musicians in the industry, like
Why so?
to perform at a certain level. There's like from some radio shows and different, especially around New Zealand, they can be quite, they're quite strict and like.
Except Kiwi Radio.
Except Kiwi Radio. Like there's a lot of like, if you read the guidelines on how to submit, it feels like you're being told off.
Yeah.
It feels hard. So there's a lot of pressure for like indie musicians to be able to do content, to make videos, to record, there's like videos on YouTube saying you've got to release a song every 2 weeks and then you've got to do this and you got to do that. So I had to step back and I was like, this stuff is just crazy.
See, I switch off from the Matrix because it is very overwhelming. I mean, the entire thing about social media is it's the attention economy. The more eyeballs per second, it's literally rigged like a casino. But it's not money; it's dopamine, right? Dopamine hits. Because the longer you stay on the platforms, the more advertisements you will likely see. So there's scientists and mathematicians behind social media. What I personally do is I have timeouts with my phone. Like it literally goes off at certain times of the day, and I don't turn it back on till the morning. And I know social media is important, trying to get your music out there, but I'll be very focused and intentional with my time. Like, so it might be a 15-minute burst in the morning, right? And then I'll go on to my next thing, right? So that's how I do it, and I find that the less noise or the less attention that basically, because there is this side of me where I'm trying to compare what my achievements are with others, and am I doing well because of it. And for example, mainstream radio stations, right? They have all the funding, but they get thousands of viewers every listener. And I think Kiwi Radio peaked at 600, right? So it's such a different size, but I'm like really content with the audience that we have, and it's more to do with community, reaching out to other storytellers, and I don't know, just kind of having a moment with people has been more meaningful. Rather, it's quality over quantity. And
I agree. I definitely agree. And embracing your shape, like what size you are, and enjoying that that's the journey you have right in front of you. And it's interesting with social media, you're saying about unplugging. I do that as well. I'm definitely, so we've got this constant otherness on the internet to be aware of.
Wow.
And if you have it with you all the time, you lose your connection to yourself, right? And so I like to go away from it and sort of insular and create and and disconnect, because the internet's so good for sharing and connecting, but we can't handle that much connection. It's like you need to find a way to balance it, which sounds like you are doing as well, but it's tricky. It's tricky because it is
Well,
like a drug.
well, it's dopamine. It's that constant dopamine fix, and I don't know if you've heard that. I've said this a few times on my podcast, but there's this great term called the Dunbar number. Basically, it's a cognitive limit to the number of people whom one person can actually maintain a stable social relationship. You're talking mum, dad, uncle, auntie. So in a traditional tribe setting, that peaks to about 150, or even now with the internet and I like to call certain relationships circumstantial relationships or circumstantial friends. Like an example of that would be like your workmates. That's very circumstantial.
Yeah.
And so 300 would be the peak for that as well. But I do agree with you that the brain literally is being hacked. Like it cannot process in real time how many connections we now have unlimited access to 24/7.
I can imagine it's sort of creating a strange wiring within ourselves of being overly aware of otherness, and so what you are doing and creating is mostly performative, and disconnecting you further and further from yourself, and so it'd be this endless spiraling of us becoming more shell-like and hollow. I guess we do see that and people being very performative, and you can tell it's fake.
Yeah, definitely. And but thank you so much for wearing your heart on your sleeve, doing your art. It's very important for me to hear from you every now and then, and seeing that you're doing okay, that you're processing basically life through songs, which is really a beautiful gift in a way. Not everyone can do that. There are some people out there that, maybe are living through, tough jobs or tough this or that, or the economy is not very good at the moment. So they're going through escapism in toxic avenues. We're talking illicit drugs, we're talking alcoholism, so to have something that's a form of escape, but in a nice, nurturing way, is quite the gift. It keeps us grounded, I think, as musicians.
It's very nourishing. It's so interesting to create things. It definitely stimulates my mind and myself in ways that nothing else does. It's just incredibly intricate and interesting thing to do. I love it.
Wow. And with that, I want to say thank you for being on the show. Of course, I'm going to say that you will stay cool and stay creative. That's my motto. But with you, I know you'll always be Samantha Josephine, as authentic as possible. Check out Samantha Josephine music. Tell her, give her a message right now on Instagram. Speaking of being addicted to social media, message her once, turn off social media, and then burn your phone. So
enjoy your dopamine drugs.
Yeah, dopamine. But yeah, the main thing I find good about social media is using it as a tool, but then like this, where we're just basically having a one-on-one conversation, right? So it's sort of like I reached out to you through social media, but I used it. It wasn't the end-all and end-all of our connection, our conversation.
A tool.
Yeah, it is a tool. It's like anything. Fire is a tool, right? So you could use it for warmth. You could use it for warmth, or you could use it to burn things with a flamethrower,
Yes.
So it just depends how you use it. Anyways, do you have a flamethrower on hand, by the way?
No, sorry.
No. Not sure we get it to New Zealand, but
No.
I always dreamed of a flamethrower, what I would do with it. Anyways.
Warm people.
I was watching a cartoon recently, and I don't know, it's one of those preschool cartoons I was watching with my kid. and one of the stories, it wasn't a fire truck, it was the evil fire truck. So rather than like putting fires out, it had a flamethrower, and rather than rescuing cats, it would put cats into trees. So maybe I'd do that. Maybe that would be me. Oh wow, we've got a new person in the chat room which I haven't seen before, and it's the lovely Kimberly Rowe saying, and this is a message for you, Samantha, so I hope you listen. Awesome interview, Samantha Josephine. Thank you for wearing your heart of gold on your sleeve. Your authenticity is so inspiring. And that's from Kimberly Rowe. Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah. Any last words?
No. God, that's too much pressure, last words. Oh, my goodness. How can you do that to me?
I should say any last words for this week, because I know you're going to be pen on paper again. And give me an insight of a good writing day. What does that look like? Is it you in your balcony? Flashback to a good writing day. What does that typically look like for you?
All right, I shall explain. It is the curtains closed and the room dark, and I set up my microphone and my guitar, and I just can connect to an authentic emotion with me, and that's the recording process is just me connecting to authentic emotion, and that is the tangent of the music. And if I can manage to find a burst of emotion I didn't know was there, that feels rather beautiful. And discovery. It feels like discovery, and I really enjoy that. I don't use pen and paper. I just record in the moment.
A conscious stream of thought.
Yes.
That's really
meandering.
Cool. And yeah, I do that too. There were certain moments in the last hardships of the last couple of years with all the worldly events. I remember I did that a few times where I went out at night. You know, crickets are singing, the moon is out, the stars are out. And I had just some real sort of like dark, helpless thoughts about how I feeling so helpless because the world is not how I was taught it would be, right? And so there was this kind of therapeutic thing about processing your own thoughts and meandering, as you say. And I did that. I would just meander with a microphone and I'd listen back to it. And those recordings actually never released. They were just for me. And I was just kind of like thinking in real time, like, you know, I'm thinking this, what if this? And, you know, sometimes I think we swim in worry. You know, like they always say that a lot of our worry doesn't actually come to fruition. But we as humans, it's natural for us to kind of meander and you know, process. And
we are so good at imagining all sorts of terrible stories.
We're an interesting animal, aren't we? Because I was listening to a YouTuber the other day. And, you know, they were talking about job market and how hard it is at the moment to find jobs and this and that. And he's like, and my blimmin' cat in the background is just sitting in the couch. And he's like, F my cat. Like, just that raw energy of like, yeah, the cat doesn't know what is what, you know, what's up or what's down. And it's like that blissful ignorance might be great sometimes. But, yeah, I think that as humans, we've got to kind of appreciate this. I don't know if it's spirituality or whatever it is, this kind of knowing of our existence and the connection of, like, for example, the word empathy, you know, that putting myself into others' shoes. You know, I just don't think there's many animals that do that.
Not the cats. No.
Not the cats. Those cats are so selfish. I would actually, one of my life goals is to kind of sit in a room with you with a lava lamp and just kind of like talk. I just love to, like, I don't know, have a guitar with a lava lamp, and I think it'd just be a cool time with you, man. I think it would be cool.
We could have really strange jam sessions, and the cats could.
For sure. Well, if you're up in Auckland, if you fly from to Christchurch to Auckland, we actually do live streams on a Wednesday midday. typically the last month of each month, and I'm booked up till about July now. I really need to take a break from this podcast thing because I don't really get paid much
You're
for it.
so booked up.
If it's interesting, right? Like it's like I don't really get paid much for it, other than we are sponsored by Musician Buddy app. So thank you for that lifeline. But other than that, the number of hours I actually do for the station, it's definitely not legal so in terms of monetary value.
I understand so much.
But very, very rewarding. And I just love this access and community that we have. And it's really cool to kind of touch base with you, Samantha, see what you've been up to. And please do it again if and when you feel ready to share some more art with us. Again, no pressure.
Yeah.
Do rest too.
I will feel the pressure, but thank you.
Can I share something with you? Because I think, I tell you, I'm sort of working in mental health, but I'm just here we go. So, if you're feeling drained, people, you can recharge with 7 types of rest. Do you want to hear what it is, Samantha? 7 types of rest.
Of course.
So there's the physical rest. So, for example, you can get quality sleep or take a power nap, stretch, do yoga, or take a slow walk. There's the mental rest. So if you're feeling foggy or overwhelmed, you can set work boundaries, like no emails after hours. We're talking about that. No social media. Take short breaks and practice mindfulness or deep breathing. Sensory rest is, I think we're in this world of constant notifications and screens and noise and can be a bit exhausting. So, silence your notifications and take screen breaks. Spend time in a quiet, dim-lit space, which is literally what you were talking about, Samantha. Creative rest, if you feel stuck in a rut, take a nature walk or visit an art gallery. There's the emotional rest. This is number 5 out of 7. When you're constantly managing emotions, yours or others, you do need space to be your true self. So talk openly with someone you trust. Write in a journal to process feelings. I do that. So do that to rest. There's the social rest as well. So sometimes, you feel like you actually don't want to socialize at all. That's totally normal. So, or you can, an example to recharge would be spend time with supportive friends. So that could mean like jumping on Kiwi Radio and us kind of be cheerleading for you, because we think you're an awesome creative. Do reach out. And finally, the spiritual rest. If you're feeling disconnected or unfulfilled, spiritual rest helps you reconnect with meaning, purpose, and something bigger than yourself. So a few examples of spiritual rest would be spend time reflecting on what truly matters to you. You can meditate, pray, or practice gratitude, or volunteer or do acts of kindness. What a way to end the show, huh? All right.
Yeah.
Well, much love to you, Samantha. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful art. Thank you to Kimberly and Grenville in the chat room. I will be playing one more song to end the show. We actually get voice intros every now and then. So if you're an artist, you can submit like a 10-second song description straight from your phone to our website. So on the front page of Kiwiradio.nz, there's like a voice memo button. Artists have been using that to send a 10-second description of their songs, basically. So Wet Denim is a band from New Zealand. Great name, by the way. What do you think of when you hear Wet Denim?
Uncomfortableness.
Me too. Well, they sent me a song called Stuck With You with a bit of a story at the start of the song, a little voice memo. And with that, I want to say thank you for listening, everyone. And Samantha, good night to you, and please keep in touch.
Yeah. Good night, Ralph. Thanks.
All right.
It was
thanks.
great.
Great music as well. And thank you. Stay cool, stay creative. That is the show, everyone. And again, Wet Denim is the name of the band. Let's see what they have to say.
Kia ora, this is Wet Denim and you're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz.
Oh, no story. Just them saying hello. Kiwi Radio. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kimberly. Thanks, Grenville. Proudly sponsored by Musician Buddy app. Next week we've got Ben Rigg, Wednesday midday.
Look in the mirror, what do I see? Why is somebody else staring back at me? I fall to my knees. Spend too much time becoming you, just to feel disowned when the day is through. And now my vision's skewed. Now I'm stuck with you. I'm stuck with you. Yesterday I kissed you through the phone. Now I see that it was just a loan. But when I'm alone, I miss you like no one else. I can't take care of myself, and I just wish you would stay a little longer. And I'm tired, is all I'm trying to say. I wish that I could look the other way, and I try to make it up to you, but you force me to see your view. And I'm tired, is all I'm trying to say. I don't look like yesterday. Falling down, can't keep my head off the ground. I miss the other me. Falling down, can't keep my head off the ground. Where could he lay? And I'm tired, is all I'm trying to say. I wish that I could look the other way, and I try to make it up to you, but you force me to see your view. And I'm tired, is all I'm trying to say. I don't look like yesterday, but you force me to see your view.
You're locked into Kiwiradio.nz, and that is the end of the show. Next week, next Tuesday, our regular slot will be a replay, because I think I do need to rest. I need to take a page off my own notes and, have a bit of a rest would be great. But we will play a replay, and we'll be back, by we, I mean me, on the Wednesday with Ben Ruig. I'll post shortly on Instagram.com/ Kiwiradio.nz, and then switch off my devices for the night. If you want to reach me, you can email kiwiradio@proton.me. Please remember to just attach MP3 files, not links or anything. Just attach your music as MP3 files. Your best 3 songs will be fine if you want your music showcased on the show. But otherwise, thank you very much to Musician Buddy app for sponsoring the show. Check it out. It's a free app for musicians to connect with their audiences and get paid gigs. So please try it out. Send me any feedback as well, and I'll let the developer know, because the developer is Kiwi himself. So yeah, very cool guy, very into Kiwi music as much as I am. Try it out. It's a free app, Musician Buddy. Find it on iPhone and iPad only. And with that, thank you. Good night.